Now there are plenty of times when your colours of your textures or your 2D objects are not going to match and they're going to need to be adjusted. So I'm going to show you how I go about this. It's pretty straightforward and a very good method for easily colour correcting. So I've loaded in a course and I'm going to switch out this fringe texture and put one in that's completely wrong. So I'll go to terrain and we'll select the face of it. And I'm going to get rid of this DP fairway and I'm going to go into my textures, find a texture that's not going to work. So maybe my Margaret's Bay textures, they're quite desaturated, the original ones, so I'll choose the fringe for that. That should look terrible. And click OK. Now we need to remember when we're swapping textures, rather than just overwriting them, if I put a different texture name in, which this is, we need to remember to always switch out the seam blend textures as well, because the seam blend will still have the original name texture in. So we've got these straight edges now because this seam blend and this seam blend have still got the wrong textures in. So I shall select our fringe. So I shall select the seams. This is rough to edge. And I need to put in the one I've just loaded in, which is Margaret's Bay fringe. So I'll put that in on that seam. And I need to do the same for this one. It might be quite hard to get because I've sunk it flush with the ground, so let's just box select across and then deselect these two, and we should end up with the one in the middle selected. It's got it, I think. And there's the DP fairway fringe. Put in the Margaret's Bay one. Okay, so we've got this new texture in now for the fringe, and it's quite obviously completely the wrong colour for this course. So the way I deal with this, the first thing, get a nice view of the textures you want to change and the textures around. So I'm just going to go overhead like this and press print screen on the keyboard. Now this will copy the screenshot into memory, so we can now load it into our paint program. So I shall now just go new, and that will create, because I'm set to clipboard for my preset, it will set a new page the same size as the clipboard image I've just put into memory. So all I need to do now is paste it in. On some paint programs you don't necessarily need to create a new canvas, it just depends. Sometimes you'll just have the option to create a new one from the clipboard, but each paint program is different. So we've got our image and we can now see the colours, and the next job is just simply use a mask. It doesn't have to be too brilliantly done. Whoops, maybe a bit better than that though. And we just mask it off the bit we want to change. So I'll just click add. It's not too easy drawing on the side of my chair arm. I'll just cut that over. So yeah, we've got it masked off, and now it's just a matter of using the adjustment commands to change the colour. So I usually use brightness, contrast and hue saturation. They're the two I find the easiest for most of my colour manipulation. So we'll try brightness contrast first, and I obviously need to make it darker, so try and get it darker. And if I up the contrast, it will also intensify the colours as well, so I should up the contrast a little bit. That's going to be too dark. It's still a bit grey looking, because it's a very desaturated texture. So yeah, I maybe will skip to the other one, which is the hue saturation. It might be easier to do it on that. And if I increase the saturation, this will increase the colour. Turn the lightness down. And this colour's also a little bit yellower green than these greens, so if the colour is towards the yellow side, I need to slide the hue scale towards the blue, and if the colour's more of a bluey green and I want it yellower, slide it towards the red end. So I shall just move this hue up a couple of notches, maybe +3. That's starting to look a bit better, and I need it darker still, so I'll darken it quite a bit. And I'll increase the saturation again, because as I darken it's going greyer. So it's getting there. Maybe a little bit more blue. Up it to 5. And drop the darkness again, and the saturation up again. But if you can't get it right first go, it's not a big problem. It's easy to adjust again once you've done it once. It's very quick to do the second change. So Dilla needs a bit more blue in it, I think, although not that much. Well, let's do that for now. That'll do for now. So I've got the settings worked out for this colour. So now all I have to do is transfer these settings to the actual texture. So make a note of these. Well, I'll just print screen it again, because I can then just create a new image. I'll have to come off that screen. So if I go to new image again and paste again, that's given me a record of the settings. So I'll just crop that. So I've got my settings, +7, +35, -25. So I now need to load in the texture that was in my library. So pictures, links, Margaret's Bay fringe. And I need to set the same settings in the hue saturation for the texture. I've already forgotten them with my memory, so +7, +35, -25. +7, +35, -25. +7, +35, -25. Okay, now I just need to save this, and I won't save it over the original, so I don't want to destroy my original, so I'll just save it to my desktop for now. So desktop, save. Now if I go back into APCD, into one of our textures that use, doesn't matter whether I use the scene blend or the actual fringe now. So if I go in to the one that's using this Margaret's Bay fringe, if I now just select it, go to the desktop and select the new version, open, okay, save, and it will change to the new coloured texture. So you can also use this technique the same way for objects. So if a tree was the wrong colour, for instance, again, just find the tree on APCD if you wanted to change, say, that colour tree. Print screen, go into Photoshop, mask around the image of the tree, work out the settings, then load in the 2D image following the instructions on how to update images, and you can adjust the 2D objects in the same way as you do with the textures. So that's an easy way to color correct and color match all your textures and objects for your course, and it will look a lot better if you spend the time just adjusting the colors to balance with each other.